Well, happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Flights. I am your host, Lazerbolt, and tonight we are going to be flying these beautiful C-130J Super Hercules. We're going to be flying them to a little place called Mustang Beach, located in Texas, just south of Corpus Christi. It's a really nice place. We're already noticing that there's some strange behavior when we're in multiplayer. Some of us can see each other just fine, and some of us, we just show up as the interior of the airplane. So I don't know, we're trying to figure that out, and bear with us, but it should be a beautiful flight, and we're going to be taking off in about 4 minutes. So, welcome and happy Friday.
We've got everybody's planes looking right now.
Actually, me and Longhorn look good, and Split Horse and Wingnut look like a bust.
Yeah,
I'm the
to
only
me
one
that
that looks good to me. Everybody else is weird looking.
Yeah, I only got one
well,
person looking
everybody-
fine. We should all see
everybody looks good to me
ourselves
now.
looking fine, but yeah, Split Horse and Wingnut look weird.
Split Horse, you say your throttles are backwards?
For engine 3 and 4, I can't figure out how to reverse them.
Yeah, I thought there was some kind of a toggle switch that was right there as you're mapping it, something to reverse.
there is. It's just a little button to select to reverse axes.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I select my Bravo throttle quadrant, go over to power management, and throttle. Scroll down to throttle 3 axis. Maybe it's that little thing there.
They got that little cog wheel thing that you can change.
Set inverted axis. Thank you.
There you go.
So, have you guys all had a chance to check out this C-130J since we bought it? It's pretty new for most of us. Myself, I love it. I've been flying it around quite a bit. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I've been flying it.
I watched a video on how to use the autopilot.
Did ya? Was it a guy named Lazerbolt video?
Was wondering. I kind of looked around. I didn't see one, but it was somebody.
Well, that was the first thing I did after I bought it, and I checked all the features out, and I realized, well, this thing, everything works on it. That's fantastic, and it works in the new sim so perfectly. Yeah, first thing I did was made a little autopilot tutorial. So yeah, check that out, guys and girls, if you're in the mood. We will be taking off in about 1 minute, so get ready to do that. Get prepared. Tonight we're going to be flying up to only about 5,000 feet. It's a little bit flat around here. We're not going to hit any mountains. 5,000 feet. Let's try to maintain about a 270 knots and lower. Otherwise, it'll be a quick flight. Right now we're in Baton Rouge. It's not too far from Mardi Gras, St. Louis, or am I thinking? All I can think of is St. Louis.
New Orleans.
New Orleans, thank you.
Or as they probably pronounce it, Narlands.
Oh, for sure, that's how they pronounce it. All right, gentlemen, it is 10 after the hour. Time to get this show on the road. Let's go ahead and spool these birds up and get flying. I'm going to take a bit of a right-hand turn out of here. Lazerbolt is spooling up and rolling. Yeah, somebody left a comment on that last video that I made, the tutorial for this airplane. They bought it and they seem to be having trouble with their brakes. They're not sure if their brakes are operating properly. They say they'll land at like a 9,000 foot strip and they can barely come to a stop. And I haven't really had that problem, but I use my reverse thrust all the time, so maybe that makes up for it. Maybe in one of these landings I might try, no reverse thrust and just brakes and see what happens. But I know the reverse thrust is supposed to make a huge difference, but you shouldn't need a 9,000-foot runway to land, you know.
Try it on a short runway with trees at the end. See.
I don't know if I'm going to get that bold.
Just kidding.
Like our last stop today at Mustang Island in Texas, that's our shortest runway. It's not very big. I'll have to double check here, but I think it's right in the neighborhood of like 4,000 feet. Not too small for these birds if you're using reverse thrust. The rest of them ain't too bad. I took a left-hand turn. I should have took a right. Getting off to a hell of a good start. This is quite the factory-looking area here, huh? Nothing but smokestacks all over. Smokestacks and ships.
I like how the tower is calling me Split Horse. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, nice, huh? Makes you feel important. It actually knows your name. And I don't know if that's supposed to be a bridge or something, but there's no going underneath that. It looks pretty solid to me.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Alright, getting back over to the pink line. Like I said, we're going to climb to 5,000. Try to maintain around 260 to 270.
Now this autopilot won't follow the line, right?
It will.
It will.
It will, yeah. Go down to the radio beam coupler just off your right-hand armrest, the radio beam coupler at the bottom, and switch it over to range localizer. Yeah, I'll do that right now on stream, range localizer. And then also make sure your autopilot main switch is on. You know where that's at. Now, when you take that big mode selector switch knob, put that to nav. Yeah, this right here. Put that on nav, and you are now following the pink line. Make sure that your flight director switch, which is right above the mode selector, make sure your flight director is on normal. Because anytime your flight director switch is on manual, it will follow your heading bug. No matter what, it'll follow your heading bug if flight director's on manual.
That video I watched didn't look anything like this.
Look up Laser. He did a good job on his.
I'll have to do that.
I'm a little hurt that you didn't right off the bat. It must not have suggested it to
Maybe
you, though.
it's because I'm looking down at an angle that was different in the video. I can't see anything in the center there when I look down.
I'm going to hold altitude at, looks like 5,300-ish. Yeah, the one thing about the video I made is I was trying to keep it exciting, so I was like, hey, let's fly this C-130 in a major thunderstorm. And so that was cool. It's exciting, you know, that I'm flying around in a thunderstorm. And that also, I explained how to use your ILS landing system, and it helps when you're in that big of a thunderstorm. The only problem is it's a little dark, you know, and some things like when you're looking over at that radio beam coupler switch, you can read the letters, but you can't really see the knob too well. So maybe that was the difference, but it doesn't sound like you watched mine anyway. But yeah, I explained how to do the complete startup procedure, how to follow the pink line with your GPS, and how to do an ILS landing. So I'm going a little bit fast here, so I'm going to slow down. You see, about 270. Yeah, I really like this bird. This is fantastic. I was disappointed the way the 2020 version of the Hercules performed in the new sim. For me, I was having all kinds of weird problems. It was hard to fly it. But this thing, absolutely perfect. Haven't had a single issue whatsoever. The other one, you couldn't even do a cold and dark startup. It would kind of break it.
good in 2020. It wasn't working well with 24. Mine wasn't either.
Yeah, yeah. In 2020, it worked fine, but yeah, since we moved to the new sim, my older Hercules stopped working. So anyway, it was good to see this one on there. I think it was cheap too. I don't know if it was $15 maybe, but that's all right. That's a good price. This is a very nice airplane.
Yeah, I think I told you last week they've got an L100 civilian version of the C-130 on there now, but it's $25.
I wonder what the difference is and why it's more expensive. Did you buy it yet?
It's got no, it's the same airplane basically. It's just got a white and a kind of a white body, and I forget, it's some kind of cargo.
Yeah, I don't
company.
need to spend $25 just basically for a new paint job.
That's all it is. It's just called an L100, the civilian version. Different paint job, same cockpit.
Also put out by Captain Sin.
Yeah.
Split Horse, did you end up getting your? Did you get this bird to follow the pink line?
No, you told me the first thing to do, and I can't find that switch.
It's you know where your autopilot main switch is? It's to the right of your armrest. There's a big box that has like a knob on the outside that says pitch control, and then right in front of it, the left button says pilot or autopilot switch. That's the main. The right hand button is your altitude hold. So turn on your autopilot main. Like I said, it's on that big box that has a dial on there that spins around.
Yeah, it's right below the words that say glide, and then your altitude hold is right below the word that says climb.
There's a pilot switch. Is that?
That's it.
Yep, that's it.
That's your autopilot main right there. And then see to the left and down, there's a knob that's called radio beam coupler switch. So after your autopilot main is on, go down to that radio beam coupler and switch it to range localizer.
That's what I don't see.
Well, it doesn't actually say radio beam coupler on it, but it has.
Yeah, when you're hovering
it says
over it.
Yeah, when you hover over it, but otherwise it says blue left localizer, gyro pilot, range localizer, and what is that, AFF?
And where's this?
Right to the left on that console, it's just a little switch.
Yeah. Right to the left of the autopilot main button, where it just says pilot switch. To the left and just down a little, and it's an actual knob that has like 4 different settings that you could put it on.
My armrest is in the way. I can't see.
Well, move over just a little.
Use your arrow keys down there to slide over to the right just a little if it's set up that way.
Yeah, that works.
It just turns me to the right. It doesn't move me to the right.
Try Alt and your arrow key.
By default, it'll be on gyro pilot, and you need to click it one over to range localizer.
There's a thing that says servo engaging switches.
You're close.
That's your autopilot main.
Yeah, don't mess with that. That when you turn on your autopilot main, those 4 switches turn themselves on.
Is that transponder mode? Is that it?
Dude, it's right next to that thing that you just mentioned, the servo engage switches. It's literally just to the left of it. I mean, they're connected to each other.
Yeah, it's like it has 4 positions. Switch.
Now also, make sure you engage your...
I can't see it because the armrest is right in the way.
Well, move your ass.
Get the frickin' armrest out of the way.
I think you can lift the armrest. Okay, we'll see. Maybe not.
You can put it down if you tap on the left armrest, it'll push the armrest down.
Oh, thank you. Okay, there it is.
Also, don't forget to engage your altitude hold, or you'll be climbing crazily. You can't set it to a certain altitude, but you have to hit it right when you get where you want.
Okay, there's this reset autopilot button.
You're so there. Yeah, it's to the left of that.
Oh yeah, just to the left of that, like an
Radio
inch.
beam, there we go. Gyro pilot, is that what I want?
Hey, turn it off of gyro pilot and put it on range localizer.
Yeah, straight up.
Okay, I think I got it.
Now go up to your main panel, and just to the right of all your instruments, you've got flight director and then mode selector.
Yeah, I've got that on nav.
Yeah,
and
it
I
should.
have flight director on. It's bringing
Long-
me over to the line now.
Flight director should be up on normal, and then put the knob on nav.
I got all that set. It's heading to the line.
Perfect. There you go.
Like you got it.
Yeah. Now you can just pretty much leave the mode selector on nav and leave the range localizer on your beam coupler, and you can just kind of like flick it to manual, flick the flight director to manual, and it'll start following your heading bug if you need to stray from the line. Then pretty much as soon as you take off, you can turn on your autopilot main, and it will automatically go back to following your pink line. So it's handy. And now you can see right by your directional indicator on the left, it'll show you your miles. It'll show you how far away you are from the next waypoint. Handy. See what I'm talking about? It says miles and course.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's super
I'm
handy.
trying to get my altitude to to go back down.
What you need to do
It's
is
like 12,000 feet.
right, disengage your altitude hold, right? You know where that one is. That's the button to the right. Disengage that, and then spin that knob. There's this great big dial. Spin that forward, and you'll start nosing
Yeah, the
down.
pitch control knob. I know where that is.
Yeah, so turn off your altitude hold. I think it's called something else. It's called altitude switch or something.
Altitude.
It says altitude somewhere.
Altitude control switch.
Right, turn that off and then spin that knob, and you'll notice your vertical speed going down. And then
Yeah.
keep an eye on it. When you get to the altitude you want, turn that altitude hold back on. And that's the only way to get your altitude set. Like I said, I wish you could actually tell it to, say, go to 5,000, but you can't. You have to keep an eye on your instruments, and when it gets to 5,000, hit that altitude hold. This thing wants to keep speeding up, and that's not a bad thing. Boy, I'm back up to 290 knots.
I'm at 300 knots. I need to slow down too.
I didn't even notice my buddy Page Turner's There Were Not is here. That's Brendan Mystical Mar. How's it going, Brendan? It's good to see you, buddy. Happy Friday. Right now we're flying from Baton Rouge to Texas, basically. I don't know what's in between here and Texas, but we're going to be stopping at a couple neat places. Matter of fact, our first stop is going to be Jasper County, wherever that is.
Well, when I was looking for videos on the C-130, unfortunately, I saw one, or a video where they tried to do this low pass coming in hot and dropping off the tank, and he slammed into the ground. I think he killed
whoops.
everybody on board.
That sounds like what happened at Pope Air Base.
Bob, last week
That
you
happened.
said, sorry to interrupt your story, but you said something about you followed my video, and other than the sequence of engines, everything looked good to you. You said you do your engine sequence differently. How do you do that?
No, I didn't mean to imply you were doing it wrong. I just said I was trained to do it differently when I was in engine run school at Pope.
Well, that's why I'm curious how you're supposed to do it. Like I said, someone once told me, and they left a comment in my video complaining about the last one. So I figured, well, when I make this one, I'm going to do it the way they said. They said to do engines 1 and 2 first, and then 3, and then 2 and 4. So,
Well,
you know,
when
I mean, 1 and 3, and then 2 and 4.
I was trained in engine run school as a ground crew maintenance guy to do 3 and 4, then 1 and 2. But
Aha.
like I said, it doesn't really matter. I
Well,
mean,
you know what,
it's-
That actually, yeah, it definitely works both ways, but I'd like to get the procedure right, so if somebody in real life, can tell me, like I said, that sounds about right. I actually did find a document that said to do it exactly the way you said, to do 3 and 4 first and then 1 and 2, because I was trying to verify that guy's story. I was like, are you really supposed to do 1 and 2, or 1 and 3 and then 2 and 4? I could see why. What kind of convinced me, if you look at your engines, you look at your gauges on inside your cockpit, and you can see your RPM gauges. It looks like on the RPM gauges, like the engines number 2 and 4 are red, and engines 1 and 3 are white. You know what I'm saying? Almost like they're paired together, like you're supposed to start these first and those next. That's what had me convinced. I was like, well, why are they different like that? You know what I'm saying? But the document that I read, and it was like an actual from Lockheed Martin kind of a document. Someplace in there, I searched the entire document. I didn't like by eye search it, but I just searched for the key words, and it suggested that you're supposed to do 3 and 4 and then 1 and 2, exactly like you just said, Bob. So yeah, I wish I didn't put it incorrectly in the video, but you know how that is. The second you post a video, it's like, well, there's a problem.
Don't worry about it. I mean, it's good.
Well, it literally doesn't.
Any way you want to.
It literally doesn't matter. It'll start either way, but I'd
Sure.
still like to get it correct. Well, at least now, if somebody leaves a comment in the video, I'll know what to tell them, which is basically, well, whoops. I was told to do it this way, but then again, I've been told to do a lot of stuff, so who knows.
Yeah, I mean, things change. I've been out for 25, 26 years, something like that. So, I mean, shoot, things could have changed, but that's just the way I was trained. That's all.
No, I bet you're right about that. Like I said, even that document said so. I keep getting air traffic control messages here from somebody else. I'm going to try to turn that off.
Yeah, they keep telling me to go to 60,000 feet. I'm like, I don't want to.
You're hearing split orders comms.
There you go. I just turned my COM 1's volume all the way off. They're still talking, but I don't need to hear it. She's not even talking to me. We're about 70 nautical miles out from our first stop here. Where we say that's going to be Jasper County. Does anybody know where Jasper County is? Is that already in Texas? It's probably not in Texas quite yet.
Yeah.
I know that there's a Jasper, Missouri, but I don't think we're anywhere near there.
No.
Well, it is recommending we land on runway 36, so that's pretty much straight north-ish.
Oh, this landing is not going to be pretty.
Actually, we've got 5,400 feet of runway. That's plenty big enough. Anything over like 3,500 is good enough for these birds, especially if you use your reverse thrust. Split horse, if you don't have your reverse thrust mapped, you should probably do that before we get there. We're getting close. We're only at elevation of 174 feet, so let's see, 5,400 foot of bituminous. We are going to be landing runway 36, so like I said, that's basically straight north, so count on runway 36. We're only 65 or 63 miles out. I'm not going to drop down too much. Here in about another 10 or 15 miles, I'm going to drop down to 3,000. Unfortunately, there is no ILS frequencies for either of these runways. Otherwise, I would have just picked that. But like I said, 36.
So in the cockpit, is it the engine condition lever? If I pull that all the way back, is that reverse?
No.
No, that'll shut your engines off.
Yeah, that'll shut everything off. Don't touch those. It's your actual throttle. You can, I mean, it's hard to do it by hand. What I've got it set is I went into the controls and I set it so if I'm holding down this button on my throttle has a big button on top of it. If I'm holding that down and then push my throttle forward, that's reverse thrust. If I let go of the button, it goes back to normal thrust. There's numerous ways to do it.
That's what this red button on the side of my throttle is.
It might be. Try mapping that. Yeah, exactly. Try mapping that to, I don't know, it's called like reverse thrust. There's two different options. One is hold the button, the other one is toggle.
It might already be mapped. I'll see.
It might be.
That'll run off the runway. I don't know.
You know, I mean, if you got good enough brakes and you're on the ball and you're coming in nice and slow, it come in about 115 knots, full flaps. 5,000 feet runway is plenty to get stopped in, or at least it should be. See Longhorn up in front. He looks like an actual C-130. That's cool.
Yeah, I slowed down, but then you must have slowed down even more. 'Cause I'm down to 264.
Oh, I guess I did. I'm down to 250, so let me speed back up to 260. We're almost there. We're about 54 miles out. I'm going to begin my descent here before too long. I'm going to go back up to 260. I see Wingnut just behind me. He still looks like just the interior of the aircraft. That's quite a shame. I'm going to have to Google that after we get done flying to see if that's a common thing, or are we doing something wrong?
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing you are. I don't understand what that is. That's first for me too.
You look like a bus, just a flying bus.
So did you guys all get the later version of it? Because I'm still on the one that I got in 2020.
Oh,
Yeah, we got the new one.
yeah, I got the new one.
Oh, that's probably why then. Although
That's why
you
I
all
see
look
you
like
normal.
C-130s to me, which is weird because I don't
So
have
that
your
is
guys'
weird.
plane. But that's probably why
Yeah,
you're
the rest
seeing
of us
me
are in the
normal,
J.
because
So maybe that's it. I'm seeing everyone who's in a J, I just see as the bus, basically, the cockpit.
Yep.
And you're in the regular C-130H, that's why I see you normally. It even says you're in
Oh,
the H, I didn't notice that. Huh. And you're probably seeing me as the C-130H, not the J, which you
I
don't
am,
even have.
yeah, because, yep.
That
I mean,
makes
I don't
sense.
know how to tell the difference from the outside, other than I just know everybody's livery is the Alaska livery. So that's why I see everybody normally, because it's substituting the older C-130 because that's all I have.
Yeah, but
So I'm
with
gonna bring my
me
altitude
and,
down.
Laser with the new airplanes, we should see each other as the same because we both have.
We should. Split Horse as well. I should see him. He's got the new one. You know, the big thing is, though, that's weird is earlier, before you guys all hopped in, and it was just me and Split Horse at the airport, he spawned in at the airport, and he looked like a bus, and I was trying to figure that out. And it's like, no, he's not a bus. He's actually the interior. It's like everything on the outside of the airplane was gone. It was just the inside of the airplane. But for a split second there, for like, I don't know, 2 seconds maybe, he looked normal. He all of a sudden, boop, and there was a full C-130 sitting there, and I was like, oh, cool. It was just loading the textures or whatever. And then almost immediately he went right back to looking like a bus, and he hasn't gone back. So, I don't know. There's something there. That information is there. It's just displaying it kind of weird. Never seen such a thing in the new sim. We used to see stuff like this in the old sim all the time. In the old sim, I mean FSX, you know. But in this one, and in 2020, I've never seen this.
Me either.
That's weird. We used to see weird shit like this all the time, though, in FSX. And it was just model matching problems. It's just, I don't know if that would be a problem with the simulator or a problem with the model of the airplane. I'm guessing it's
We should probably turn the communications off on both radios and.
like before, yeah. That used to crash our sims. If you're flying around with your radios on in multiplayer, it would crash your sim. And that was only a C-130 thing. Anyway, I'm 40 miles out, descending down to 3,000 feet. Like I said, we're coming in runway 36, so let's count on jogging out to the left a little bit here in a few miles. We got a little bit to go still, but that's easy enough to do. Split Horse, like I said, you take your course set knob or your heading set knob and move your heading bug just to the left of your heading there. Now, when you turn on your flight director to manual it will follow your heading book. And then when you turn it back to normal, it'll go back to following your pink line after we take off. Of course, I shot right past 3,000 feet, so I'm going to be holding 2,600.
That reminds me, I should probably flip that back on now. I did the same thing.
Yeah, I always forget that. It's so easy to forget that, oh, I'm in the middle of a descent. I should hit that button sooner or later.
It's a good thing that this is a big aircraft because my tablet is the size of a billboard.
Your EFB?
Yeah,
Really? That's in VR?
yeah.
Huh. Is it always like that?
Only since Sim Update 2.
I see. Yeah, that's pretty big. Usually, when I'm flying in VR, it's small enough to where I can just kind of take it and put it in the co-pilot seat, because I don't have a co-pilot when you're in VR. The seat's empty. I just put it over on his seat, and if I want to see the map or anything, I just look over there. And then that way, it's completely out of the way. I don't see it unless I want to look at it. But if it's that big, I don't know what you do. Put it outside on your wing.
Yeah, well, you can like, one of the flights I actually pushed it so far out that it was like way off the distance. Then I couldn't read it because it made it tiny. But it's a known bug. It's supposed to have the sizable bars on the edges of it, so you can like reduce the size of it. But it's just not working yet.
Yeah, right now you can only change the size of it if you undock it, which ain't no problem, you know, if you're in 2D.
Yeah.
That's why I have a second monitor. I just drag it over to my second monitor out of the way. Then I can blow it up.
But I can't see my second monitor through my headset.
That's right.
Yeah, I just keep it
I would
all
have
on
thought
my
that
main
Sim
monitor.
Update 2 would have helped you with your VR.
Oh, it did. It's a lot. I mean, I can at least use the EFB now. I couldn't even use it in VR before. Now at least I can use it. But like I said, it's bigger than the seat next to me.
Wow.
I'm going to swing about 5 degrees to the left here, and we'll get lined up for runway 36. Wouldn't be a bad time to start slowing down. Yeah, I definitely want to Google that, why the airplanes look so weird in multiplayer like that. See if anyone else is having the problem. Yep, we're coming into Jasper County, which, like I said, I'm not quite sure what state that is, but our next stop is going to be Galveston, and that's Texas. Y'all might be wondering, what in the world are we doing flying around here? This is so random and odd. Yeah, it is a little bit. Basically, I didn't have time to put together a flight plan this week and come up with something new, so I went back into the archive, and this is a flight that we took about 7 years ago. This is back when we were doing the, actually it's longer ago than that, but this is back when we were doing those around the world C-130 traveling in time missions. Remember, I had a whole story worked out around that where we would go someplace and go back in time and help some historical figure with whatever. And I just remember, so anyway, I grabbed that flight plan because it was for the C-130 and it looked interesting. But I remember the actual mission we were doing that night was we were supposed to take our C-130s back in time to go to this place. We were bringing something from Jackson County. This guy needed cannonballs or something because they kept getting attacked by pirates at this place called Mustang Island. And Mustang Island kept getting attacked by pirates, so we were bringing cannonballs from Jasper County all the way to Texas, so we can give them cannonballs. And I thought that was kind of a fun mission. We had a good time that night.
I might have been part of that because it sounds so familiar.
Yeah, we went around the world 3 times helping people like that, you know. Every time we'd go to an airport, I would just Google it to see if there was anything historic that happened there, and then that would be our story. So what we would do, and we could do it tonight if you're feeling adventurous, when we land at Jackson, go into your inventory and go into your weights and balances and bump your weight way up, simulating that we're flying around full of cannonballs, and that'll make it interesting. I'm probably not going to do that because I prefer not to crash on stream, but that's what we did back in the day. We were flying cannonballs from this airport to our final airport. Remember, I had that special paint job for the airplanes too, where it looked like it had like special glowing engines that were supposed to be our time travel engines. The paint job was called the Time Slayer. It said Time Slayer across the side. We had a good old time back then. That was fun. That was back in FSX. That was so long ago. But that was also back when there was 20 and 30 people in a group flight. There was a lot of us.
Oh, just checked up on Jasper County because I'm not flying tonight. And I was looking on the quick links on the side. I looked on the Jasper County, Texas website, and they have a document down the bottom of their quick links. It's called Aircraft Fuel Access.
Ooh, what's that about?
Jasper County Airport policy regarding fuel sales and airport access.
What seems to be their stance on the whole issue?
They got 2 areas, Area A and Area B. Area A is for aviation, agriculture aviation, or disaster response services.
Interesting.
I don't know what it says. I'm looking for Area B now. Area B is used by all other fuel sales. Area B will be near the airport terminal building with the exact location to be designated and marked by the airport manager. Well, we're doing really good.
Sure.
Policies effective August 7th, 2023.
Not sure where this runway is. Are you on the ground yet, Lazerbolt?
No, I'm still 10 miles out. I'm south of there. I'm getting ready to turn final. Like I said, 36 is heading straight north. So, yeah, in about another maybe 2 miles, I am going to turn to the right, and that'll put me right down 36. I did already have I'm close enough to the pink line as we're leaving here that my GPS already switched over. But I'm getting ready to turn final right now, as a matter of fact. Like I said, I'm in the neighborhood of 10 miles south.
I'll see you on the ground. I'm at 5 miles.
Right on, I see you on the map. I'm going to pull in right behind you. I see somebody following me too.
That would be me.
Yeah, I'm behind Longhorn quite a ways.
Lazerbolt is on final, runway 36 for Kilo Juliet Alpha Sierra. Really should be able to see it by now.
I'm in line with it. I'm on final.
Gotta slow this bird down.
Okay, I see it.
Oh, I am way high. Way high, way fast. This is going to be tactical landing right here.
At the end of the runway at Jasper County Airport is the Jasper County Cowboy Church.
Ooh, Cowboy Church. I like that. So did they say exactly where this is? Where's Jasper County? What state?
Texas.
Texas. Okay, geez, Texas is huge. Man, pretty much as soon as we left Baton Rouge, it was Texas. All right, Lazerbolt is coming in hot.
I see the pappy lights.
Yeah, Jasper County is northeast of Houston.
Thank goodness I have these reverse thrust. I would have never came to a stop.
This is going to be interesting.
Let me get turned around so I can watch the show here.
What's landing speed?
About 115, 110, 120. Don't go under 100. Okay, yeah, I came in way too fast. I almost didn't make that turn. Here I am looking for the airport, and I was looking past where the airport actually was. It was actually underneath me.
Wonder if I escape out and switch back to the H model to see if that changes anything between the rest of us.
Right on. It might work just fine. It seems to work with Longhorn, and I can see why too. You know what I mean?
I can see Longhorn just fine. It's just everybody else is half.
The only thing that makes me worry a little bit is since he doesn't own the C-130J, so it's given him the C-130H. But since you do own the C-130J, it might just keep trying to show you that, which don't look right. See what I mean? Well, that was pretty good landing, Longhorn. Geez, you didn't use hardly any of that runway. You got your reverse thrust working and everything?
Yep, this thing is flying better than it's ever flown before.
Good deal. Maybe I should switch to the H. Although I'm not having any problems with it at all, except seeing other people. Seeing other people in the J version looks a little weird. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's a sim issue or if it's a C-130 Captain Sim issue. I don't know who needs to fix that, but they need to fix that. Like I said, yeah, I could Google it and see, like I said, after the flight I'll Google it. There might be a simple fix. There might be that somebody already figured out, you know, they say, hey, if you go into your graphics settings and turn off your anti-aliasing, everything is good. You know, some simple fix like that, you know.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you went with the J model instead of getting the Miltech version.
Well, this is the only one for, yeah, this is the only one for the Flight Sim 2024. You're talking about the MilViz one?
Yeah, the MilViz.
Oh, no, that's barely flyable, dude. That's like an alpha version.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah, that's... The only reason to buy that right now is because it's only going to get more expensive in the future.
Okay.
But that's 100% alpha version. It's not even a beta tester version. It's alpha tester version, and it's pretty rough. But when that is all 100% ready to go, that's going to be the coolest airplane ever. I still like this J version, though. This is really nice. Like I said, I bought it, I don't know, a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. It's fucking awesome.
I'm landing in the dark, too.
You got what, too?
I'm landing in the dark.
Jeez, oh, peace, man. Don't do that. I'm not even sure if Mustang Island has lights. It's a pretty small place. And it's just an old rinky-dink island off the coast of Corpus Christi. Split horse, I might have almost got in your way on that landing, sorry.
I like the way that thing looks. Or doesn't.
You mean the cockpit version? Or yeah.
Yeah, the one that without the aircraft on it.
Right, the one without the airplane wrapped around it. Alright, well, it looks like everybody got down.
I almost landed in the grass, but I made it.
You know what? Wingnut, you did switch aircraft, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
I see you now in a C-130, but you still might see me in the C-130J. But at least I see you properly. You look good on the stream now, so that's what's most important, right? Most important in life. You look good on that stream.
Nice. Yeah, split horse is still a half aircraft for me.
I'm guessing I still also will look like a half aircraft. Just the inside of the aircraft.
We'll have to start calling them split aircraft.
Split craft. Alright, gentlemen, when we take off out of here, let's take a left-hand turn, and pretty much, if we would have taken off from the other end of the runway, it would have been more sensible. But this is the direction the wind is going, even though we don't have much wind. Let's go ahead and take off this way anyhow. So after we get out of here, it's pretty much 180 degrees straight back. I'm going to take a left-hand turn when we get up.
Yeah, your cowboy church will be right over at the end of the runway, a little over to the to your right side.
The runway we're taking off from, or the reciprocal?
No, the one you're taking off from.
So it'll be at the end of this runway to the right side, huh?
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised they didn't make it a point of interest. It sounds kind of interesting, especially since it's so close to the airport itself. Well, let's take off out of here. Our next stop is going to be Galveston, Texas. I think that is quite a big airport. I'm going to check when we're in the air. I'm going to see if it's got an ILS frequency. And if it does, we're just going to go ahead and use that runway, whatever has the ILS. Give myself four notches of flaps here.
Still see you as a half airplane laser. I got Longhorn.
That's a
the only
shame.
one I can see proper.
I do appreciate that I can see you properly now, although that's still, it's a shame. Alright guys, let's get these birds back up in the air. Lazerbolt is spooling up and rolling. These airplanes always look like they're going so slow, but it's because they're massive. They're actually going very fast.
I'm going to take a little shortcut through the grass here.
We're not looking.
Airport security.
Yeah, your fine will be in the mail, along with how they're revoking your license.
Apparently that's it down there to your left, to your, well, you know, at the left on screen.
Ooh,
Well.
I ran out of runway.
Pull up. You don't have your brakes
I'm
on
still
still,
in
do
the
you?
red. I'm maintaining level flight so I can get my airspeed up.
Yeah, you need to be at least about 110, 120 knots to pull up out of there.
Well, I got off on the ground at 90 with full flaps. I shouldn't have had full flaps on.
You had that whole runway and you can barely get up to 90?
I took a shortcut through the grass.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it was only 5,000 feet to begin with, and it needs at least 3,500. Alrighty, I'm going back up to 5,000, which I'm almost there already. Alright, Lazerbolt is holding 5,000 feet, going to maintain 260 knots. Getting on that pink line.
Hell, I found out. I uninstalled Flight Sim 20,
Uh-huh.
and now my H model doesn't work for the nav mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I took it away, I guess.
Huh. God, that is unusual. And I can totally see wanting to get rid of Flight Sim 2020, but that's a huge program. Mine's like 150 gig.
Yeah, I just have to fly in heading mode, that's all. It's okay. ILS mode will still work, I think, though.
That's too bad. Well, they need to get that model matching thing fixed, and then you can just fly that J version, which works terrifically. You never know. I mean, I guess there's a small chance that they never even bothered testing it in multiplayer. Because I'm not sure how popular flying in group flights is. You know what I'm saying? I know we do it every week, but I think there's a lot of people who've never joined multiplayer, you know? And usually multiplayer is not much fun unless you're with a group of guys that you know. Otherwise, you're just flying around an airport with a bunch of strangers that are not even talking to you. Speed under control here and slow down a little bit more.
What are we going for as far as speed?
About 260. Yeah, I really like the sounds of this new Hercules too, the C-130J. It's wonderful. Bob's mentioned a number of times how good it sounds when you're starting up the compressor. That's awesome. It does. It sounds great. It's got that perfect whine to it. And just the airplane in general. It has a real beefy, low rumble to it, and I love it. Sounds way better than the 2020 version.
I stopped pretty fast on that runway. I'm wondering if, pulling my throttles back and then pulling them back further, there's like a stop.
Right.
And when I pulled them back all the way, I stopped in a hurry. So maybe it's already mapped.
It might be. It might be. A lot of throttle quadrants have like that little indent when you get to the bottom, and then you can pull it back just a little bit more.
Yeah, that's what this has.
That might have been exactly what happened. Yeah.
See what happens while I'm flying.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
What could go wrong, right?
Yeah, right. What could go wrong?
Alrighty, 5,000 feet, 260 knots. Got 88 miles to go to get to Galveston. Let's check out this Galveston airport here, and hopefully they've got an ILS frequency. Well, we are in luck. We have a runway 14 that has an ILS localizer. So perfect. This runway here, runway 14, we're going to be doing that. Runway 14 is, let's just call it 6,000 feet. So that's plenty big. That's about 500 feet more than that last place. So 6,000 feet. No elevation to speak of. It's bituminous surface. And if you all are ready for that frequency, the frequency for runway 14 is 111.7. Remember that, 111.7 for an ILS approach at Galveston. Go ahead and put that into my nav radio right now. Your nav radio is located just above your throttle quadrant, in between your throttle and all of your gauges. So I'm going to put this on 1117.
I finally found the volume controls to get rid of ATC. It was a pain.
There you go. ILS frequency is in. Now hopefully when we get to that airport,
when I land.
hopefully when we get to Galveston, runway 14, this airplane will just take over and land itself. I love when it does that. Also important, the one thing that's easy to forget when you're doing an ILS approach is the heading of that runway is 139 degrees magnetic. 139 degrees. That's what you're going to want to put into your course setting. You won't be able to do it now if you're locked onto the pink line. But later, when we're doing the ILS approach, don't forget 139 degrees. 139 degrees magnetic. This would be a pretty easy approach. We're just going to swing out to the right a little bit. Latch onto that ILS localizer and let her come on in. It's got an ILS localizer. It doesn't mean it has a glide slope though, but I'm assuming it does.
You know, looking around, I still remember the old flight sim, and this is so much better. Now, I'm not talking about 2020. I'm talking about what?
Oh, FSX?
2000. What was it called?
Flight Sim 10.
FSX?
Yeah, FSX.
Yeah, Flight Sim 10.
Oh, there's no comparison. It's wonderful, and not just like, oh, it looks so much better, but they're really pushing the system. It's like, no, it looks 100 times better, and it plays 100 times better. It's smooth, man. Even that old sim, it wouldn't even run good on a modern computer. That FSX, it was just so modern programming is so much more elegant and efficient. You know, it's not just hardware that's getting better, it's programming that's getting better, software is getting better. And FSX had a lot of problems. It didn't matter how powerful your system was, it still ran like crap, you know. And this takes advantage. If you've got a more powerful system, it works better, you know. And it's, I don't know, even on a mid-range computer, this thing still runs fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, FSX really ran in a single core, not really multi-threaded.
That was one of its problems. That it was released right around the same time as what was that operating system? Well, they were Vista. It was released alongside Vista. As a matter of fact, it was meant to be a Vista showcase game, to where they were showing everybody the capabilities of Vista. Well, Vista is notorious for not knowing what the hell to do with multi-core processors. You know, it was that far back that, you know, the multi-core processors were kind of a new thing, let alone talking about hyper-threading and stuff like that. They didn't have anything like that. So FSX was never designed to take advantage of more than one core. Even if you had 12 cores, doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. It was never designed to take advantage of that. And you couldn't trick it to, you know, there were some little tricks that you could try to do and make it you take advantage of stuff, but it never really did. It never worked fine.
It didn't help.
It always ran like crap. It was always buggy. You were lucky if you could get 20 frames per second on it. You know, it was just it wasn't very optimal.
You had Intel AMD wars of people saying, "Oh, it flies better on an AMD." No, it doesn't.
No, it flies that crap on everything. Like I said, even on a modern computer, you put that on, it'll still play like crap. This one, The new sim, including 2020, this 2020 and 2024 version of the sim are fantastic. They look and play so beautifully, so smooth.
I'm just going to make one statement. When FSX was all we had, it was good enough.
Better than good enough. We loved it. We loved it. We played that game for 10 years and loved it. But this is so much better.
If it had looked like Microsoft Flight, it would have been better, but they abandoned Flight. I don't understand why.
Flight had its own problems. It was just, it was
It
goofy.
did, but it's because they stopped. It's like as soon as people started buying it, they were like, okay, we've got our money. We're not going to follow through with anything.
It wasn't that good. The menu was awful. The UI was awful. It's just everything about it was terrible. It was an airplane game. I'll give it that. But it wasn't a simulator in any way. It was an arcadey. I don't know. It was poorly made, and I don't miss it. I know a lot of people talk about it with reverence, but I don't miss it. Geez, I'm glad we moved on from that stupid game. It did bring us all together, though. That's literally the start of our group. It was like 18 years ago. We all started playing that game, and that was the beginning of our community.
There's things you could do in that game with aircraft you couldn't do with a real airplane, too, either.
No, absolutely.
No, it really needed a lot of work, and that's what everybody was hoping they would do, and they just didn't. It was like a money grab, and
kinda. Well, and a lot of people, they thought, it's like, hooray, this is going to be the new simulator, woohoo! And I remember, really looking forward to it. And when it came out, it was just like, I don't know, this just ain't doing it for me, man. It's not doing it for me.
But it did have an autopilot.
It did. But the weird thing is, navigating sucked in that game, too. You couldn't even set a waypoint. You couldn't, put a waypoint on the map and say, show me how to get to that. There would be no UI, there would be no, you couldn't set your GPS coordinates, you couldn't do any of that stuff. It was just goofy. The only way you could navigate is if you were doing one of their dumbass little, side missions or whatever. Here's a mission to go get a hamburger, Other than that, you couldn't just fly. Let's just they had a multiplayer thing, but it was really hard to get a group flight together with that game. I don't know. I don't miss it. This is so much better. I love it.
I don't miss it either. Not now, anyway.
It certainly didn't last long. Say, gentlemen, we are 47 miles out from Galveston. The way your ILS will work is... let me show the stream here real quick. We need to do this before we get within 30 miles or so. So anyway, go back down here to the radio beam coupler and switch it over to AFF. It's over on AFF. Now your radio is searching for that ILS frequency of 111.7. And when you get to within about 26 or 27 miles of the runway, it should pick it up. However, since we're still not set up to grab onto it, but when we get to within 30 miles or so, I'm going to switch my mode selector over to ILS. That should do it. We'll see when we get there. I might actually want to swing out over a little bit.
I love how this puts antennas. Here's a little antenna on the ground. It's sticking up. It's got the guy wires, everything. It's pretty cool.
Very nice. Yeah, before too long here, I might turn a degree or two to the right, just to help us line up for that runway 14. We're already kind of lined up with it. Not too bad.
Galveston has two airports. One's called Houston Hobby or Bush International.
Oh, the George Bush International. That's a huge one. As a matter of fact, I think, isn't the George Bush International, that might be the one that they just improved in the game. They just did a world update on it. Okay, I'm going to swing to the right a couple degrees, help us line up that 114. I'm still 38 miles out, so we probably can't pick up the ILS frequency yet. I did, remember Bob, last week I was asking if you'd ever had any luck messing with the volume knob down on the ILS or on your navigation radios. It should broadcast. It should broadcast like Morse code. You'll hear Morse code coming over your radio when you get close enough to latch onto it. And I've never been able to get that to work. And I monkeyed with it for a long time this week, and it didn't work at all.
Yeah, I never did hear it.
That's a shame too, because it's pretty handy. That's, you know, other than that, you just got to kind of guess if you're in range of it. But I'm about 34 miles out now. In about another 5 miles, I'm going to switch my mode select switch over to ILS navigation, and it should latch right on. Should latch onto that localizer for runway 14. Oh, I might want to bring my altitude down now. I want to bring it down to at least 4,000 or 3,000 and a half. So yeah, let's bring that altitude down.
You trying KGLS?
Yeah, we're going to do ILS approach on this one when we get to Galveston. And I'm descending. Hopefully I don't forget to lock it back off at about 3,000. If you have your radio beam coupler set to AFF, you should notice your directional indicator. It kind of does a weird thing. It does it like it flips around when it gets within range of the ILS. And like I said, at that point, you might want to turn your mode selector switch over to VOR ILS 1. I'm going to find out here in about I don't know, a mile or so. Don't forget your speed. It's easy to come in way too fast. Yep. I just saw the needle on my VOR head indicator. My VOR heading indicator is just switched around. So I do believe I am now within range of the ILS feather. I can test that by switching my mode select switch over to ILS. Let's give it a try. Now, don't forget, what was that, a 139? Don't forget to set your course heading to 139.
Yep, I think mine just grabbed onto it.
Yep, I'm definitely latched on and going in, but set your course heading to 139, otherwise you'll be going out over the ocean. For some reason, that's the one thing I often forget. And I see other people forgetting it too. They were like, it's like it's latched on, but it's not bringing me the right direction. It's like, well, it's because you got to set that course heading. It's easy to forget. Alrighty, now when we get to within 20 miles or so, it should bring up your glide slope indicator. For some reason, I no longer have miles to the airport. It's just a red line now. And we must be within 20 miles because my glide slope indicator just popped in. That's good news. Don't forget turn your... I gotta turn my altitude hold back on. I really wish you could map that altitude hold button to a button on your stick. You can do the autopilot main with a button, but you can't do the hold with a button, and that'd be handy. Because here I am trying to keep an eye on my instruments.
You got to look down there to find it.
Yeah, I got to actually literally move my camera down there and then flick it, and then get back to what I was doing. We do have a glide slope indicator though, so that's important. Everything looks like it's going smooth as could be. This your glide slope indicator will start sliding down once we get close enough to it. It'll slide down. Once it reaches the horizon, the aircraft will grab onto it and start following it down into the airport. So it'll automatically descend for you. Neat stuff.
Coming in under the glide slope?
We are under it right now, so that's the best you can do.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, this is a nice looking bird too. I like this one a lot. What do they call it? The flying jennies? It's weird, it's not a jenny at all.
I guess that's what the 130J is.
That's probably, you know, you're probably right about that. That might be what the J stands for. I didn't realize that. There's a good chance. Alright guys, we're getting close. Time to start slowing down. My glide slope indicator has started moving, so we should start descending here shortly. Runway in sight. For some reason, I did not lock onto the lock onto that glide slope somehow.
It happens to me sometimes. I don't catch it.
Had somebody pop in. Instantly left.
Sorry, buddy, what was that?
Yeah, we had just had somebody pop into the Discord channel.
Oh, we did. Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
even see who it was for a second.
I got him.
Oh, they hopped into the group flight lobby, or they're up above?
They were in the group flight lobby, and they do X-Plane 11 and Microsoft Simulation X Steam Edition.
I see.
Not what we can play with, you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Going gear down.
Everybody's, all these name tags are obscuring the runway.
Yeah, those are all the ships that are down there. They got some weird names, don't they? That is also something that I forgot to mention. This is our penultimate stop for the evening, so when we get down, we're going to take a 10-minute break. That'll be a good time to change this coffee into a cocktail. So go ahead and we'll take a break, use the restroom, go ahead and grab yourself a snack. We'll be back in the air in 10 minutes. Coming in right behind you, Bob.
Okay.
You got plenty of
Mine
space.
didn't lock onto it either.
Oh, right on. Well, then it wasn't just me. At least I could tell when it was time to start descending.
Are we going to go back to the end of the runways?
We are. Yeah, we are. We'll wait at the end of runway 14.
Where we landed, or the other
Yep.
side?
Yep, same runway we landed at. At least I believe that was 14, wasn't it?
No. All three of you landed on
Oh, we
whatever
did.
one.
Whoops.
I'm wondering, because I'm looking at the number 14 on my runway I'm about to land on. It's like, you guys aren't even on the same runway as me.
Maybe that's why Laser didn't latch on to anything.
Yeah, well, mine
Maybe.
didn't either.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was heading in the right direction. I mean, it should have been within a few degrees at least, and it didn't lock on. It did lock on, my localizer did lock on, I think. It was pointing me towards the airport. I don't know if it was pointing me towards the right runway, though. Certainly that glide slope didn't do anything. Either way, we got here. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure what runway we landed on, but let's take off from that one.
Don't hit those little airplanes. You can't. You can hurt them.
Yeah, I'm going right over the top of them. Hell, I went right over the top of that bus.
Yeah, you were on like 18 to 21 or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it says runway 18 over here. Well, hell, that's not even the worst mistake I've made tonight.
Good thing Split Horse doesn't have an airplane. He can't hit anything.
No wings or nothing. Alright guys, let's take a quick break. We're going to be back up in the air at 5 after 30. At 35 after the hour, we're going to be back in the air. So take that time to use it. Yeah, you know what? You know what, guys? This is something I forgot to mention. After tonight, I will 100% for sure have my 4,000 watch hours. I've got my subscribers, I've got my 4,000 watch hours, and I will be a full-fledged monetized YouTube partner. So, hooray! It finally happened. It took forever, but it finally happened. Right now, before we started the flight, I was 9 hours away. 9 lousy hours. Whether we did this flight or not, I would have hit that 9 hours tonight. So this is for sure going to put it over the top. So, yeah. Thanks for playing along, everybody. I appreciate your support.
I see what look like pyramids out
Yeah, I'm taking the drone over here. I'm wondering if it's the Bass Pro Shops pyramid. I know they have one that is shaped like a pyramid, so I'm cruising over here to see if there's any signs on it. Yeah. It's photogrammetry, so I get close enough to it, it looks horrible. There's a pink one, and a tan one, and a blue one.
So everybody out there, thanks for watching. Remember, you can join us at any time you'd like. We would love to have you. The information for the group flight is in the description of the video. It's got the airports we're going to be flying to. It's got the airplanes we're using. And you can join us here on Discord, and that way you can get the full flight plan and pop it into your GPS. And it's all right there. A good way to get the game is to get it on GamePass. So do that. Grab it on GamePass, come and join us one of these days, and we would love to have you. We have a good time. We will be taking back off in 3 minutes, guys, so make your preparations. We're going to be out of here in 3 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get back on that runway. Yeah, I do like the blue running lights. I think, what do they call them? Anti-collision lights that they have on the side. Those look pretty nice on the C-130J. I don't think they had that in the H version. At least I never noticed it. So, 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. We'll be taking off out of here, flying to Mustang Island, Texas. If you see any cannonballs at Mustang Island, I know who brought them. Doing a shallow right-hand turn out of here. Pretty much following the coast all the way to Corpus Christi. One minute, guys and girls. Let me know if you need more time than that. It looks like everyone's still sitting there. But 1 minute, we're flying out of here. Is my mic still on?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I just got back in.
Right on. I just thought I'd check your pulse real quick and see who's even listening.
Yeah, it was runway 18.
Hey, I see Adam Knight from Nightfall Productions hopped in. I think he's leaving. Says I have a good one, Laser. But yeah, thanks for stopping in, Adam. It's good to see you. Nightfall. Everybody wants to check out some cool wrestling type stuff. Go check out his channel there, Nightfall Productions. Yeah, I've never been a big wrestling kind of guy, but I've always thought that going to a live event would be just awesome. I bet you it would be a ton of fun. He's got some neat videos of some live events that he was doing, and he's also an author. So check that guy out. Alrighty, guys, it's time to get these birds up in the air. Lazerbolt is spooling up and rolling. Remember that your mode selector switch is probably still on ILS. If you want to follow your pink line, move it back over to nav. I'm going to go back up to 5,000 again. That was a good speed or a good altitude. Same thing as before, about a 260 knot indicated.
You guys took off already?
We did take off already. But we just took off. We're probably only about 2 miles out. I guess that is the irony of me saying if anyone needs more time, say so, because if you're not around to hear that, how are you supposed to say so?
Telepathy.
I thought you had said 35 past the hour, so I'm like,
Oh God, you know what? I did. We left early, sorry. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, we
I'm
left about
back.
5 minutes
No,
early. Sorry. Well, no wonder when nobody was listening when I said, okay, let's get back out on that runway. I took a 5-minute break instead of a 10-minute.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't say anything. I'll work on my machine and see if I can get with you next week.
Well, buddy, I hope you get that fixed up. We'd love to have you back.
Yeah, I got a rebuilder.
Oh, are you gonna rebuild all over again?
No, I'm gonna just put in a new boot drive.
Yeah, he's going to redo
Oh.
the entire, he's going to reinstall Windows and basically just wipe it.
Wipe it, put in a new Windows drive, and then just reinstall the software.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we hope to get you back online here with us.
Yes, sir.
This is very, very disconcerting.
well,
Yeah, it
one
sounds-
thing about Microsoft 2024 is that it installs about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't take hardly any disk space either.
No, I have a problem. I actually have it backed up to a drive that it's not on my boot drive.
For me, it usually updates and I don't even notice it. You know what I mean? Before it was like, we'd have these big half-hour long updates. And the new one, that is just, you know, you launch it and it's already got the update applied.
It just takes a little bit longer to boot up, but you don't see the bar going across or anything like that saying it's downloading an update. It's just there.
I had those J tubes attached, I could catch up to you, but I don't.
like the Fat Albert Hercules there.
Yeah.
Love that thing. That's one of the paint jobs I missed. That was a nice looking paint job.
They have it in the Dirty 30 and the Coast Guard in white and red.
Ooh, do they?
Yeah.
Very fancy. Do they happen to have the Coast Guard with floats?
No, it didn't have floats. It was just a.
So I remember back in the FSX days, the Captain Sin C-130 package. One of them they had was that like a orange and white or red and white Coast Guard looking thing, but they had two of them. They had a ground version and one with floats. Didn't even have wheels. It wasn't amphibious. It was just straight for the water. For some reason, I don't know, I couldn't even get that thing off the water. It couldn't go fast enough to take off. I never flew it.
My little dog is so frustrating. We took that break, I got up and I was like, let's go outside, you know, so she could do her business. She sat
Now's
by,
your chance.
I had this jar of treats, and she sat down by the jar of treats and she would not go outside. She would not do anything. So I opened it up and gave her one of the little treats. Then as soon as she got done with that, I'm like, you need to go outside, and she ran to the door. It's like, so I had to wait for her to eat that treat and then let her go outside.
She's got her priorities, man.
Well, she had just gone outside first, then I could have given her the treat and sat down and not missed the takeoff.
Yeah, that's not part of a dog's plan right there. Well, what do you say when we get to Mustang Beach? Let's land runway 30. Runway 30 is kind of straight in.
We're not going to land on the beach?
I hope not. You can try to land on the beach. I'd like to see that. When we get there, though, it is barely big enough for us. It is a 3,480 feet. These birds are usually, you can do okay with 3,500, so this is big enough, but just barely. And it's an asphalt runway, 3,400 feet. Bear that in mind. It will be runway 30. Count on that, runway 30. Let's come in nice and slow. I do have a 9-knot wind from 110, so it would actually be best to land on runway 12, but it recommends runway 30 as well, so who knows? That's what we're doing. It's kind of straight in, that's why I chose it.
Yeah, mine is recommending runway 12 because it's showing a 12-knot headwind coming in at
yeah. Except for some reason it gives me both. It says runway 12 recommended, runway 30 recommended. And then it tells me that there's a 9-knot wind from 110.
Maybe because mine's showing a 12-knot wind from 130.
Right on.
Last update, 215 UTC.
That's for preset weather that I use. That's kind of a lot of wind. Usually it's around 1 to 2 knots. 9 knots. That's.
I was thinking the same thing because I'm certain I did the few clouds. So I was because normally it gives
usually
you
don't
3
matter.
knots when you do few clouds.
Captain Hopper wants us to do a barrel roll and a loopy thing. In this thing, not so much. When do you guys want to come up here and get it on camera while you're doing a barrel roll and a loop? Any volunteers?
Yeah. I might get upside down, but I don't know if I'll be able to pull it out.
Well, they do have a combat landing, which, from what I understand, is pretty adrenaline rushing. You get into this tight spiral down, that's pitched way down, and then you pull flat just before the runway. So.
Oh yeah, that is what they call a. Gosh, it's called a combat landing or something, but that's definitely what they do.
Tactical.
A tactical landing. I've
Yeah.
seen people do it quite well actually.
Yeah, a lot of people call it tactical. When I was in, we called it an assault landing, but same thing, tactical.
Yep. Get in and out quick.
Yeah, I saw a demonstration of a C-130 do that at an air show.
It's a lot of times you'll see him drop a tank out of the back or something. Speaking of, Bob, I went and checked out that Midway airport that you were talking about there, Midway Island there.
did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
it is
did you?
interesting. Yeah, I didn't really fly around it much, but I did. I just spawned there and then walked around the base. I should hop in an airplane and fly around, but it was pretty nice. I liked what I saw already.
Yeah, did you see that building, that old building that has collapsed in on itself back there?
Yeah. You know, I don't know. If you didn't see it, I would have thought maybe it was a glitch or something. But yeah, it's an old derelict building for sure.
No, I saw it. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you didn't say you saw it, I would have thought there was something wrong with the mesh. But since we both saw it, yeah. Yeah, interesting.
And the main
it looks,
building it says Midway Island on the front of the building, and then there's like an old, I think it was I don't know if it was block or stone or something off to the left of that, and a couple of red tanks, oil tanks.
yeah, definitely. I don't know. Something about it just feels vintage. It feels back in the day, you know.
Yeah, had some couple of piers that went out in the water.
Oh, I didn't see that. Like I said, I didn't fly
Well,
around, but I checked
yeah.
out the airport and the local area pretty good just by walking
There was
around.
a small
It was
airport
very cool.
nearby that you could take off from and land at Midway. It makes a short flight, maybe 15 minutes or so.
I just like the historical significance of it, you know, being the the Midway Island. Literally, that's how it got its name. You know, it was a good launching point to attack Japan.
They call it, the airfield is called Henderson Field, but the island is Midway Island. So that's
like the movie. That was a good movie back in the day. I remember that. It's just called Midway. All right, we're 93 miles out from Mustang Beach. Well, Mustang Beach is a little bit like, well, I don't know, maybe it ain't. Maybe there was actually Mustangs here when they named it Mustang Beach. Wild Mustangs, could be true. But did you know that the Canary Islands was not named because of all the canaries. There's no canaries at the Canary Islands. It's actually a little bit like the Virgin Islands, haha. Because there's no canaries there either. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
But true, there's no canaries at Canary Island. It's named Canary Islands because the early explorers saw it was full of dogs, wild dogs. So they called it the Canis Islands, you know, like Latin for dog, canine, canis. So it's really the Canis Islands, and then over the years people just started calling it the Canary Islands. And there are no canaries there, just a bunch of dogs. Producer Steve just hopped in. He hopes it's been a good flight. Producer Steve, it has been a good flight. This is my favorite airplane right here in the whole entire world. And it's performing like a champ today. We're having a good old time. Getting ready to come into, what is it called? Mustang Beach, Texas. Just south of Corpus Christi. It's good to see you, man. Glad to have you here. No Backstage Plus tonight? Everybody's bird performing good tonight? Nobody's having any weird unexpectedness?
No, as long as I start on the runway with the engines running, it does okay. If I try to do an engine start on the ramp, it'll do like yours was doing before. It'll lose engines and generators to go offline.
Yeah, that is true.
So far, so good.
Well, when I tried to do a cold and dark start with that C-130H that was built for 2020, it screwed things up like really bad. I mean,
Yep.
like it
Yeah,
literally
me too.
changed the configuration file to where I was having problems ever since. Producer Steve says he was thinking about it, but just couldn't get her going. I did remember last week you said something about maybe wanting to join us one of these nights, and that would be great. Like I said, whether you're broadcasting with backstage or if you just wanted to join us and fly, hang out with a bunch of guys that are solving all the world's problems on a Friday night. It's yeah, pretty casual to fly with us and easy to get along with. I even think he might have said that he's got it already, the game, that is. Well, that reminds us, no Travis this week.
Houses along this peninsula here. I guess it just doesn't. It's not a good spot to build anything
Nope.
water-wise or.
I'll bet you this whole
Question.
area floods.
Question: does the word hurricane bother you?
Yes,
That's-
exactly. That's a good time to flood it right there.
It was in the back of my mind.
So you know what? I just remembered Longhorn. Last week you were not with us because you were taking a trip. Yeah, you went to like Needles, California, I think it is.
Yeah.
How was that trip? You have a good time?
Yeah, way more drama than I liked, but and it was hot. It was 100 degrees a couple days.
Oh boy, it ain't been hot around here. It's been 40. We had one 70-degree day, and it was just awesome. And then it went right back to 40. I think it's 50 right now. So.
Yeah, we're running like 80s here, 80, 77, or 78 today.
Is that
yesterday.
typical? That
So
typical for this time of year, or is a little hot?
Yeah,
a little cold?
it's about normal.
All
Yeah,
right.
no, that's about normal for this time.
I mean,
of year.
around here it should be at least 60, but it's just been cold. I can't believe it's almost June. It's almost Memorial Day, and it's barely breaking out of the 40s. It's crazy cold here.
But we did manage to get to Vegas for a day.
Yeah, good. Any luck?
Oh, we didn't do any gambling. Just my wife went shopping.
Oh, okay. Bad luck.
Didn't even go into a casino.
Really?
Oh,
Sure.
you did lose money.
Why do
Was
you
you
worry
make-
about Las Vegas casinos? Buffet.
Yeah, that's true.
I
I've
bet
never been to
the
Vegas.
Longhorn was made to hold the lady's purse while she was shoe shopping out.
So you're probably pretty good at
No,
that.
we
He's got
haven't.
years of practice.
We went to the Hello Kitty Cafe, and she's in an outlet mall. She likes Vera Bradley purses and decor and stuff, so we had to go into the over to the outlet mall so we could go shopping over there. But it was all for her birthday that we should have did in February.
Oh, there you go. Well, you're saving yourself money by not getting a divorce.
Happy wife, happy life.
It was a long trip though. It was. Well, we got 2 dogs and then pulling the trailer. I had to stop about every 250 to 300 miles. Oh, we did have something interesting
It's
happen
always
on the
something.
way though. On the way back, we were like massive wind, and after we had stopped to let the dogs out and get a bite to eat, we were heading back out of just outside of I think Bakersfield, and as we're cruising down Interstate 40, a pretty new truck pulling a really long travel trailer flipped over right in front of me.
Oh boy, that'll get your heart going, huh?
Yeah, I got it on the dash cam.
What was he doing? He driving crazy or something, or what was going on there?
No, he was getting on the freeway, and it was one of those on ramps. It's a circular on ramp, and
Just
as
a
he
little
was
too
coming
fast.
around that, and I think it's a combination of that and the wind. The wind had hit him because the
All
wind was
right.
hitting the side of the trailer as he's going around there, and I saw his tire start to lift, and I told my wife, he's going over. And sure enough, it started to go back down, but then it just whipped back up, and then it flipped him and the truck over, the trailer and the truck completely, and wound up in my lane.
Oh, jeez. Hopefully everybody's all right.
I had an experience with heavy wind pulling a travel trailer, left to Las Vegas, just inside Utah, and the weather report was for 70 knot gusts, and so I pulled off shortly after that. I was being pushed all over the place. I was going about 50 on a 65 mile an hour highway, and I just stopped at a trailer park and parked for the night, and we rocked back and forth all night long.
Oh, the wind, right?
Oh yeah, it was really gusting. I'm glad that we found this place. It was cold. It was in the winter time, and I remember we had use of the water there until like 8 at night, and they came and turned our water off and drained our hose. It was nice of them to do that because it got
Yeah, it
down
is.
to 20,
Otherwise, yeah,
22
something would have
degrees or
broke.
something like that. It's no fun pulling a big trailer in the wind, I'll tell you.
No. Well, just my
mine-
first long trip in my RV. It's a smaller RV. It's a Coachman Freelander. I think it's 26 feet. So it's not huge or anything like that, but it's pretty big. And yeah, my first trip went to Arkansas, and it was like a 3-day drive. And for all 3 days, it rained and poured and lightning, and it was just the worst crappy weather ever. And yeah, it's no fun driving something big like that when the weather's pretty crappy. It's no fun being on a 4-lane highway with trucks all over, and it's just raining to beat all hell. You can't see 2 feet in front of you. And yeah, it was quite an experience driving white knuckle the whole way. But then on the other hand, I can't wait to get back and do it again. I'm really looking forward to taking a trip with my RV here soon. Far too broke right now. I can't wait to make a little bit of money so I could, I can't wait to get a job so I can take a vacation.
Yeah, that trip that we went on was doomed from the start, or not the start, but we went down and we stayed at a place and visited friends in La Quinta, California, and then we went to Las Vegas, stayed the night there.
Vegas always comes in somehow.
Oh, I guess I should slow down. I'm passing everybody. I'm like, oh, I've caught up.
No, you're good. I mean, you caught up to the lead. You're right here. I'm going to be dropping my altitude here before too long. We're 40 something out. I'm going to bring it down to about 3,000 feet.
290 though. I need to slow down.
It's true. We're not super far away. We're about 45 out. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my altitude right now. I'm going to bring it down to 3,000.
I just uploaded that dash cam video.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, I'm going to check that out after the stream here. That looks interesting. So I see the guy that hopped into Discord here for a second. His entire name was SP. That's it. Just SP. I wonder who that was. Name doesn't sound familiar. I don't think we've seen him before. Yeah, it's weird. Last Monday I saw an accident too. It was just some guy, some kid driving all crazy in a truck. Actually, I don't know if I'm partially to blame or not, but I think I was driving my Camaro, And I just left Walmart. I pulled out of the Walmart parking lot, and it's a 4-lane highway, and there's this guy kind of behind me coming up fast. I mean, real fast, in his shitty old brown truck, just hauling ass coming up from behind me. So I'm in my Camaro. I bring it up to 55, 60 immediately. So I'm going 55. I'm not breaking the law. I'm not doing anything. Anyway, this guy's going much faster than that. So he tries to whip around me. He gets into the right lane to go around me, but the people in the right lane were going slower than me. They were only going about 40, you know, and the speed limit's 55, so I'm going 55 in the left-hand lane. Just had to do my autopilot here. Anyway, so anyway, he goes to go around me, and he can't because the traffic in the right-hand lane is slower than me. So he's all impatient, and he's zigzagging in between traffic. I'm looking at him in my rearview mirror going, this guy is just driving like a crazy person in a beat-up, old, crappy truck full of junk in the back, just an old, rusty-ass truck. But just by listening to it, I can tell that he must be kind of a car guy because it was souped up. It was a souped-up, crappy, junky truck full of junk in the back. Anyway, we're coming up on a stoplight. So it's like, this guy better calm down or something because there's a whole line of cars stopped right in front of us waiting for the stoplight. And I pull up and I stop just fine. Well, actually, as I'm slowing down for the red light, he thinks this is my big chance. I can get in front of this guy. So he whips around in front of me super quick like, and that's when he loses control. It's like he realizes, after he gets around me, he realizes that everybody stopped at the light and he better hit the brakes. So anyway, he hit his brakes and started fishtailing, ended up doing a donut and just flew completely out of the lane and smashed into this lady that was in the right-hand lane, parked waiting for the light. She's just sitting there waiting for the light. And then this guy, like I said, he does a donut, loses control, and freaking smashes into her car. His rear panel, which is the truck bed, hit her rear panel, you know, so everybody was fine, but there was a lot of damage to both cars, and there was junk everywhere. Everything that was in the back of his shitty truck ended up all over the freeway. It just went everywhere. It's like, well, that's what you get, buddy. Just driving like a bat out of hell. Like I said, I think I pissed him off because he couldn't get around me, and I wouldn't let him get around me. But hey, I'm driving 55. I'm in the left-hand lane. People in the right-hand lane are going slower than me, so I'm doing what I need to do. And this guy was so angry, he frickin' wiped himself out, and some poor lady just sitting at a light.
Hey, Chris is up there in an F-22.
Chris is up here.
I said, hey, Chris is up
Oh,
ahead.
I thought maybe it was somebody we knew. No, it's just another guy.
That's his name. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris 1.
Sorry guys, we're 25 miles out. We're going to be landing on runway 30. I'm holding just under 3,000 feet right now. Let's go ahead and jog off to the left just a few degrees so we can line up for that 30. We're already pretty close to straight in. And we are on course. Yeah, that weird. This is the first time I've told that story. that big crash incident happened last Monday, and you just reminded me. It's like, oh yeah, I saw a crash last week. I just kept going. I didn't even care. I just, whatever. Everybody was fine. Nobody was hurt. The cops are on the way. Everything's cool. But as I was driving away, I could see that guy just leering at me. I don't know why he had such a freaking butthurt feeling about me, you know, but I don't know. It happens all the time. I'm an old guy. I'm almost 60 years old. I'm an old 60-year-old guy driving my Camaro around, and everybody wants to fucking race me. It's like, yo, dude, that's not me. You know, I'm driving around a nice car and everything like that, but I'm not going to drag you. I'm not going to race you. I'm going to drive 55, and if that angers you because you can't get around me, well, then that's tough shit, you know, but I'm not a racing everybody kind of guy. I just like my old car. It's an old, easy to work on car, so that's my car, you know. Happens all the time, though. Every time at a stoplight, people just think I want to race them, and man, I don't care. This is my everyday car. I'm not racing anybody. I'm just wondering what he told the cops when they showed up. I'm sure his story would be something like, this guy in a Camaro pulled out in front of me and it caused all kinds of problems. But it's like, I didn't pull out in front of him, and if I did, that was like 3 miles ago. It's like me pulling out in front of you, if that's what happened, caused you to wipe out 3 miles later? I don't think so, pal. You wiped out because you're driving like a madman.
Well, hopefully somebody stopped that had a dash cam and they can show
Maybe. There was, like I said, it was a whole intersection full of cars, so everybody saw it. They probably heard it first, because like I said, as he was going way too fast to stop, he slammed on his brakes, and it just, like, you know, smoke coming off of the tires, he's fishtailing, makes the awful whoa sound as he's trying to stop. I'm sure everybody in the intersection was looking, and they saw this crazy kid go out of control.
Cops looked at the tire tread marks.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I mean, I feel like I don't feel responsible, but I do feel like I was involved. You know what I mean? This guy was like crazy trying to get around me, and I just kept driving, ignoring him. You know, just, I'm gonna go 55, man. I don't care. You know, you can't get around me because there's cars in the other lane. That's your bad.
You don't have a dash cam, do you?
No. We are about 10 miles out around here, guys. I mean, how can you tell that, okay, Mustang Beach must be this big chunk right here.
Maybe it's shaped like a Mustang.
It could be. There's a lot of ships around here, though, that is for sure.
I only see one shore.
We are going to be turning right here on final here very shortly, about another 2 or 3 miles. We'll be lined right up with runway 30 at Kilo Romeo Alpha Sierra.
I was trying to channel Travis. I was thinking of Travis when I said that.
Well, that is sort of a Travis thing.
That is the Travis thing. Alrighty, Lazerbolt's going to slow down here a little bit and begin my turn to runway 30. I'm going to be coming in right behind you, Bob.
Oh, that is a small runway.
It is not big. It is not big. So, like I said, by far the smallest airport we visited tonight. It is just big enough for us, though. We should, in theory, be just fine.
It's one of those runways you can't overshoot, period.
No, you better get a good approach, and you better be going nice and slow before you even get there. You don't want to crash right in front of flip-flop. Alright, I got a decent approach though. Everything is looking pretty good. Right behind Bob. Yeah, I gotta say, I really like this new C-130J. Captain Sim knocked it out of the park on this one. I like the C-130H also, but in the other sim, it didn't work well with this, but this is fantastic. I like how everything works exactly like it's supposed to. Oh yeah, plenty big enough. If you use those reverse thrusters. I just got a weird message. I never seen that before. Something about resource utilization in the game. Never seen that message.
Yeah, it came with some update too.
Something about GPU resource. I don't know. My frames are still good, so I don't know what it's complaining about.
Everybody's getting that.
That little white box with the warning.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've seen it.
Too. I didn't get it tonight yet, but I have been getting them.
It's probably because we have so many of the 130s all together.
That might
No,
be.
it happens when you're flying. It happens when you're flying by yourself.
It still looks funny to see just the interior
So,
of your C-130 sitting there.
Wingnut's plane looks okay for me.
Yeah, because he switched over to the other one.
Oh, wait a minute. Now,
You see the paint job?
okay, here's what's funny is inside the cockpit, he looks normal, but if I go to the outside view, he looks like a bus.
Oh, really? Because I think at one point he switched over to the C-130H. That's why I see him perfectly now.
Yeah.
I see Longhorn perfectly because he's always been in the C-130H.
I see everybody in a perfect plane except on the outside view.
Plenty of room.
Oh, you mean if you're sitting in your cockpit looking at them, they look fine?
Yeah, now I'm on the outside view panning around and everybody is in a partial plane.
Huh, that's interesting. Let me test that. I'm going to back up a little bit so I can get a good look at you from inside the cockpit. That's a good, yeah, good observation.
Except I see Wingnut in a proper plane, Laser you're in a partial plane, and Longhorn's in a proper plane
Okay.
on the inside cockpit view.
Yeah, for me it doesn't
So,
do anything
yeah,
different when I
it's-
change to the outside. But yeah, it's like you said,
Okay.
if somebody is flying the C-130J, you will see them as the improper cockpit. That's all you'll see. It's as simple as that. If they're in a C-130J, you'll see them as a weird-looking interior. But since Longhorn is flying the H and Bob is flying the H, I see them just fine. Even though they still see me in the J, because that's what I'm in.
No, I see you as an H.
Well, because you don't
It's
have the
sub-
J.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
that's 'cause I
If
don't have
you've
the
got the
yeah.
J, let me. If you have the
Yeah.
J, you would see me in the J. But since you only have the H, you'll see me in the H.
Yep. I'm just impressed that Microsoft was able to actually substitute you for another C-130.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mentioned that a
would've thought
couple
it would
weeks
put you-
ago. Right. I mean, usually if there's any difference in the configuration file, it'll just randomly show you as something weird. But yeah, it's doing a pretty good job model matching, actually, since these technically aren't even the same versions of the airplane. Yeah, very cool.
There, I got out. Maybe it'll help.
I do like those new 6-bladed props they got going on. They're sharp looking.
I wonder. I'm gonna go out and come back in the Dirty 30 and see what it does.
I'll bet you I won't see you as even a Hercules.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to test to see what
Yeah.
it looks like.
It's worth testing. Let's check it out. I sure do like these Hercules, though. That is a nice looking bird. And this one flies great. The J version, it flies fantastic. Startup procedure, everything is flawless. So here we are at Mustang Beach, and there's no Mustangs anywhere. I do wonder, though, maybe they named this place for the Warbird, the Mustang, you know? Maybe they had a whole bunch of them coming out of here at one point.
Well, that was the smoothest flight I've had in a long time. Not a single glitch.
Nice. Everything went well. Good deal. Did you do anything new, or they just everything sorted
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, NVIDIA had a new driver a couple days ago, which cured my not able to boot up with the VR plugged in, and then
Nice.
my headset actually had a new driver and firmware update today that
Excellent.
fixed the weird glitching that was going on.
So you're using your new 5080 graphics card, and everything's up to snuff now, huh? Good deal.
Yep.
Very cool.
Perfectly smooth. Got everything turned way up now where I can actually see the gauges and everything.
I like that. Other than your EFB is the size of a billboard, everything seems fine.
Yeah, that's a flight simulator issue, which I think they're working on it for Sim Update 3 beta. So
I guess that's better than
hopefully the
kind of
next
what you
update
had
will fix
before.
it.
Before you couldn't even really use it, could you?
Yeah, no, not at all. Because if I enabled it, then you could not interact with it at all. Okay, now Wingnut, you're in like an Airbus or something.
Yeah, for me too. But I bet you if I had the Dirty 30, you'd look like you're in that. Maybe maybe the reason why it's
C-130.
maybe the reason why the H and the J play so well together is they're both from Captain Sim, and the model matching takes that into account. It's close enough to where it knows what to give. But for this, nope, it just gives you as a big baby blue Airbus.
A double decker.
It's huge.
Yeah, and loud.
I'm definitely going to be getting that. Like I said, right now it's in the alpha stage, so it's got a lot of work, but it's going to be the best version of my favorite airplane. How could I not get it? It might be a while. I mean, they don't even really have a time frame. That thing is so huge, it absolutely dwarfs the C-130. It looks like you could park the
Yeah, it
C-130
does.
right inside of it. And the C-130 is huge. Looks like you could just go right inside that thing.
Is that an airplane or is that a bridge?
You don't think about how big the C-130 is until you see somebody standing next to it. And it's like, yep, that's a pretty big airplane.
I don't know. I'll try to do a share screen so you can see what it looks like. But
Yeah, I've never even seen the paint job they're using on that. Do they have more than one livery, or that's it?
no, there's several. There's a short version variation, and they have
Oh, that's right.
several liveries under that. Then they have a long version with a few liveries under that one.
Yeah, I think we talked before that I'm planning on using the short version. That's just the one I like. It's the one I'm familiar with. The long one almost looks weird. It kind of really doesn't even look like the Hercules that I'm used to anymore. It looks like a different airplane because it's just bigger. It's just longer.
Still think it's funny.
Got your stream, Bob. Got your stream, Bob. Oh, his stream had ended.
Well, everybody, I think we're going to call the stream here. It was a lot of fun. The C-130J from Captain Sim for the new Sim works great. I'm loving it. Didn't have any problems with that at all, and it was a good flight from Baton Rouge to Texas here at Mustang Beach. But I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. If anybody would like to join us, please do. We could use the company, and all the information you need is in the description of the video. And you can get the game itself on GamePass, so that's a good way to do it. And also, I would like to thank everybody who watches my videos and comes around and does things like that, because I just, as of tonight, passed my 4,000 hours of view time and passed that latest hurdle. So there you go. I am now fully affiliated with YouTube, and the money is going to start trickling in. So I'm pretty happy about all that. So yeah, thanks everybody for indulging me in this, and we'll see you again next Friday. We're going to have a good time, probably flying these C-130s again, because they work really good. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. Bye now.